The meeting of the Laredo Independent School District Board of Trustees, the meeting of the Laredo Independent School District Board of Trustees, Thursday, February the 11th, 5:30 p.m. It is 5:32 p.m. We're in the Amber Yeary Boardroom, and we'll have roll call.
Dr. Celia Moreno,
Present.
Mr. Hector J. Noyola,
Present.
Mr. Jesus Martinez, present, Mr. Jose Valdez,
Present.
Mr. Ricardo Garza, absent, Mr. Hector Garcia,
I am present.
and Mr. Jose Or Perez.
He will not be present tonight.
Okay. We have a quorum, Madam President.
Pledge. Dr. Nelson?
We usually have.
We're going to do that.
right.
You're right.
Okay.
We need to fix it up here.
Good evening, board members and Dr. Nelson. Laredo ISD pays tribute to our veterans for their service to our country. This month, we honor Mr. Walter Herbeck, who served with the United States Air Force in Korea. The Instructional Television Department, under the direction of Jeanette Martinez, has prepared a video on this renowned Tiger legend.
The Laredo Independent School District recognizes the veterans who proudly and valiantly served in the military. Freedom is not free, so we pay tribute to our local veterans. Laredo ISD proudly recognizes Walter Lewis Herbeck Jr., a proud veteran from the United States Air Force. Mr. Herbeck proudly gave 4 years of service to our country in the United States Air Force. He tells us his main role while serving.
I went to tech school for supply. It's an organization supply at the Amarillo Air Force Base. My basic was in the Lackland Air Force Base. And then after that, I was a supply specialist. And then I was, after my training in Amarillo Tech School, I got transferred to Korea. And I was stationed in Korea for 13 months.
Mr. Herbeck recalls the event that was most memorable for him.
One time we were at the base, they had a USO show. And there was a Spanish show. They wouldn't have the flamenco dancers and all that. So the commander, he asked the first sergeant to find somebody who spoke Spanish to interpret. So I came in and I said, yeah, I speak Spanish. So I was the interpreter for the Spanish people. When they had the show, they had a dancing and all that. So one of the ladies picked me up to dance because I had already made friends with them, and I danced because I used to see all the birds, and they took a picture of me when I was going. And so when I was in the bathroom, the commander came in. He saw me. He said, "Walter, not only do you speak Spanish, but you know how to dance Spanish." He said, "Well, in Laredo, my hometown, we're very bilingual by culture." He said, "That's wonderful."
Why should we serve our country? Mr. Herbeck explains.
Well, to defend your country. We live in this country as we're free. We're not perfect, but we are free to protest or to speak out.
He describes himself in a few words.
Well, I think I'm a caring person. I've been married 52 years, so I'm a family person. I have 4 children, and they call me every day. They respect me, and I respect them. I have a lot of friends, and I make friends every day.
Mr. Herbeck is a 1958 Martin High School graduate and was an outstanding member of the basketball team that won state champs in 1956.
I was very fortunate when I came to Laredo Martin. I I was a basketball, football, track manager well, it happens that a basketball team in 1956, we won the state championship.
He has volunteered numerous hours to organizations that are making a difference in our city. He tells us more.
So when I got out of the service, I joined the LULAC, and I became involved in San Antonio. And then I'm a member of Council 12 here in Laredo. And what we try to do is strive to get better education we give out scholarships. And we work with the Laredo Independent School District with our superintendent, school board, to come up with ideas how we can better our education.
He is always striving to make a difference for the youth of our community. He has this message for them.
Get an education. It doesn't matter, it has to be academic, vocational, and mostly listen to your parents. They're the key. And then your school teachers, respect them. And respect the flag. Because a lot of us, we serve, but a lot of us didn't make it.
On the day I interviewed Mr. Herbig, he explained to me why it was a very special day for him.
Today being my birthday, 78, the same day I joined the Air Force 57 years ago, I feel like I'm running out of time to help, to get involved and do the things that we're supposed to do. Give back to our country, give back to the world.
Walter Lewis Herbig Jr., a proud veteran of the United States Air Force.
I think the Air Force did a lot for me. It developed my character, my confidence.
The Laredo Independent School District recognizes the veterans who proudly and valiantly served in the military. Freedom is not free, so we pay tribute to our local veterans.
Mr. Herbig, LISD thanks you for defending our liberties as a member of the United States Air Force. Now would you please honor us by leading the Pledge of Allegiance?
God bless America. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
all.
Thank you, Mr. Herbig. I ask that you please remain standing for the national anthem, which will be performed this evening by Martin High School trumpet players Mario Valle and Anthony Hernandez, along with Nixon High School students Jason Perez and Debbie Barrera and Jonathan Martinez from Cigarroa High School. Thank you to our trumpet players and to Mr. Servando Serna from Cigarroa for directing them. Mr. Herbeck, before you return to your seat, the LISD Board of Trustees would like to present you with an engraved plaque. And we would also like to welcome your wife, Mrs. Elsa Herbeck, to our meeting today. Right here.
What the plaque says. The Laredo Independent School District Board of Trustees recognizes former United States Air Force Airman Walter Herbeck for his patriotic ideals, selfless sacrifice, and service to this country from 1959 to 1962. It is presented today, February the 11th, 2016.
To the board, I appreciate this. You're doing a great job serving your country in other ways. When I was in the Air Force, I wanted to see the world. I saw Korea, and then I got stationed back in Laredo Air Force Base for the rest of my time. So I worked for Kelly Air Force Base when I was in San Antonio, and we supported the Vietnam War. One time, the first day I was there, they asked us for volunteers. And I said, yes, I want to volunteer. I wanted to get paid extra. And we were unloading some duffel bags. And I said, why are we doing this? Duffel bags. And I asked the supervisor, and he said, let me get everybody together. And he said, the reason we're doing this is because across the field there's a C-141 full of veterans that were killed in Vietnam. The Air Force and the Army and the military have a rule that their personal belongings go to the house before their body gets there. And we decided that, hey, we should not even get paid to do this, because our veterans, especially the ones that lost their lives, gave everything out. Estudiantes, estudien, háganle caso a sus padres. We need to serve the community. This is Laredo. I'm very proud of being a part of this community. I'm very proud of being a Tiger. I once a Tiger, always a Tiger. Gracias. The only thing I'm going to ask the board to consider to see if we can erect a memorial for the military at the Laredo Martin High. There's a lot of Tigers who serve our country. There's a lot of Tigers that got medals, and there's a lot of Tigers that lost their lives fighting for our country. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Dr. Moreno, may I continue with the special observances? Thank you. Under special observances, Blanca Rosalinda Ramirez passed away on January the 12th. She worked at Farias Elementary as a teacher and retired in 2003 with 29 years of service. Viviano Gonzalez Jr. passed away on January 18th. He worked for a central kitchen as a truck driver and retired in 2006 with 30 years of service. Elena Macias passed away on January 31st. She worked at Don Jose Gallego Elementary as a teacher aide for over 30 years until her retirement in 2010. And finally, Richard A. Dick Leindecker passed away January 29th. Mr. Leindecker is the father of Mr. Gary Leindecker. The Ramirez, Gonzalez, Macias, and Leindecker families are in our thoughts and prayers. May we have a few moments of silence in their memory. May I continue with the board recognitions? All right. This evening, LISD is pleased to recognize a campus security guard for his quick thinking, 2 campuses for their daily student attendance, 2 nationally award-winning cheerleading squads, 3 outstanding student athletes, 22 really smart kids who excelled on the START test, and 2 young future scientists. We begin by honoring Ligarde Elementary School security guard, Jesus Narvaez. Mr. Narvaez's actions and quick thinking saved the life of a Ligarde Elementary School parent, Ivan Martinez, who was choking. Mr. Narvaez stepped in and promptly began performing the Heimlich maneuver until he was able to dislodge a piece of toothpick from Mr. Martinez's throat. Here with Mr. Narvaez is School Principal Rosalba Martinez and LISD Police Chief Richard Palomo. Oh, and Lupita Benavides is here. Here on behalf of Ligardes, Ms. Lupita Benavides, School Vice Principal. Mr. Narvaez, thank you for your heroic and quick actions. Now we are recognizing schools that had the most students with perfect attendance for the third 6 weeks. For their efforts, we would like to recognize J.C. Martin Elementary School. Representing J.C. Martin is School Principal Delma Alanis Ramos. And also Assistant Principal, Ms. Margie Quiroz. Next, we have Caguas Elementary School. Representing Caguas is School Principal Ms. Vanessa Ortegon. And that would be for students, the most students with perfect attendance during the third 6 weeks. Thank you for making sure our kids are in school every day. At this time, we'd like to recognize 2 nationally award-winning cheerleading squads. The Nixon High School and Cigarroa High School cheerleading squads competed at the National Cheerleading Association Nationals in Dallas. The cheerleaders competed against 13 other schools in the intermediate non-tumbling division and ranked as the top 2 squads in their division. We'll start with Nixon. The Nixon High School cheerleaders brought home the second place trophy. They also won the specialty award for superior showmanship. They performed a 2-minute routine that included stunts, jump sequences, pyramids, a chant, and a dance routine. The cheerleaders are here under the direction of Ms. Sandy Quintanilla Magaña and cheer captain Michelle Reyes, cheer and dance sponsor Sandy Quintanilla, and school principal Dr. Gerardo Cruz, and also Benito Mendiola. Go Mustangs! The Cigarroa High School cheerleaders brought home a first place trophy, and this was their second consecutive championship. The girls performed a 2-minute routine that included a series of stunts and jumps. The cheer team earned their NCAA jackets at this competition. Representing Cigarroa High School are their cheerleaders, cheer captain Isaura Ruiz, cheer senior Amber Guerra, their Toro cheerleader coach Cassandra Rios, and school principal Laura Flores and assistant principal Ms. Amy Cázares. And here's the pride of South Laredo. Go Toros. Next, LISD would like to congratulate 3 incredible student athletes for their dedication and discipline on and off the court or course. First, we have Nixon High School junior basketball player Cassandra Lascano. Cassie recently reached a milestone when she surpassed the 1,000-point mark for her high school career. On January 26, Cassie scored 1,000 career points against CC Wynn. Cassie is a 3-year varsity member and a 2-year co-captain of the team. Here with Cassie is her coach, Liana Mendoza, and school principal, Dr. Gerardo Cruz. 1,000 points, and she's only a junior. Next, we have Nixon High School cross-country runners Jennifer Bernal and Laura Coleman, who were recently selected to the Texas High School Coaches Association and Texas National Guard Academic All-State Second Team. The Texas High School Coaches Association Academic All-State Team recognizes high school students on their GPA, class rank, and ACT or SAT scores. Jennifer and Laura have also been selected to the Texas Girl Coaches Association Academic All-State Team for their academic excellence, leadership, and contributions to their team. Here with Jennifer and Laura are their coach Lee Ellen Colleen and school principal Dr. Jerry Cruz. Now we're very proud to honor 24 students who excelled in the STAR exam and they had perfect scores on either their reading, math, science, or social studies section of the STAR exam. Representing Bruni Elementary School are Alejandro Aguilar, who earned a perfect score in reading, and Jose Angeles and Fernando Gomez for their perfect scores in math. Here with Alejandro, Jose, and Fernando is their school principal, Miguel Castillo. We're going to ask all of our students who got perfect scores to meet us on the steps for a group shot, okay? And now, from Alma Pierce Elementary School are Yesenia Valderas, who earned a perfect score in math, and Jerry Cabriales with a perfect score in reading. Here with Yesenia and Jerry is their school principal, Ms. Noralva Johnson. Also joining us is our Chief Academic Officer, Dr. Silvia Rios. Representing Don Jose Gallego Elementary. From Don Jose Gallego, we have Guadalupe Baldit, who earned a perfect score in math. Representing Don Jose Gallego is their principal, Ms. Lupita Cortez. And also Counselor Ms. Elsa Morales. From Tarver Elementary. From Tarver, we have Gladys Cabello, who earned a perfect score in math. Here with Gladys is school principal, Ms. Sara Montemayor. From HB Zachary Elementary School, Ashley Cabrera, who earned a perfect score in math. Ashley Cabrera. Representing DDHR Elementary School are Alan Cano, Roberto Hernandez, and Victoria Hernandez, who earned a perfect score in math. Jennifer Garcia Macias earned a perfect score in science. And here with Alan, Roberto, Victoria, and Jennifer is their school principal, Ms. Sarah Appling. Okay. We'll move on to the next one. From Sanchez Ochoa Elementary School are Jorge Cuevas and Paolo Ang Garza, who earned perfect scores in math. All right, we'll move on to the next one. Representing McDonald Elementary is Brighton Esparza, who has a perfect score in math. Here with Brighton is the school principal, Ms. Sandra Garcia. Way to go, Brighton. From Santo Niño Elementary, getting a perfect score in reading was Antonio Espinosa. Not here? Okay, we'll move on to Ligarde Elementary School. Brian Flores had a perfect score in math. Is Brian here? No? We'll move on. From Ryan Elementary School, Sean Garcia had a perfect score in math.
Congratulations.
Very proud of you, Sean. Good job. From Linedecker Elementary is Eddie Guerrero, who earned a perfect score in math. Here with Eddie is school principal, Ms. Maria Oviedo. And Vice Principal, Mr. Silva. Looking sharp there, Mr. Guerrero. Chulo. From Milton Elementary School are Kyle Hamlin and Gael Hernandez, who had perfect scores in math. Here with Kyle and Gael are their principal, is their school principal, Leticia Martinez, and Vice Principal Michelle Bratton. Ms. Vice Principal, Ms. Trina Bratton. Shelley's your sister. Representing Kristen Middle School is Samantha Gonzalez, who had a perfect score in math. Samantha Gonzalez. Also with Samantha, school principal for Kristen, Mr. Carlos Cruz. At Memorial Middle School, Angelica Gallegos had a perfect score in math. I don't believe Angelica is here. Representing Lamar Middle School is Catalina Berry, who earned perfect scores in both math, in science and social studies. I know I saw Ms. Margarita Taboada, who will accept for Ms. Catalina Berry. Congratulations to all the students who excelled on their STAR test. We had 22 today, and we'll have the remainder of the 45 students who had perfect scores in the March meeting. And now we are very excited to recognize two students that are changing the world with their science experiments. These were the winners of the LISD Secondary Science Fair. First, we have Margarito Benavides from Lamar Middle School. Margarito won first place in the Environmental Science Division with his project, No Power, No Problem. It's on display over here. Here with Margarito is his teacher, Cynthia Bolaños, school principal, Ms. Margarita Taboada, and our LISD Secondary Science Dean, Rocio Lopez. Very nice project, Margarito. Good job. And last but not least is Jasmine Odit Cardenas of Nixon High School, who was named Grand Champion of the LISD Science Fair. Jasmine won first place in the Biological, Medical, and Health Science Division. And now she will represent LISD at the Intel International Science Fair in Phoenix, Arizona this May. While in Phoenix, Jasmine will display her winning project entitled The Repercussions of Electromagnetic Fields on the Reproductive Capacity of Drosophila melanogaster, the common fruit fly. Here with Jasmine is her teacher, Ms. Itzel Hinojosa, school principal, Dr. Cruz, and Rocio Lopez, our dean, and Dr. Silvia Rios, chief academic officer. Great work. Very proud of your work, Itzel. And she's a junior. Sophomore? Junior. Sophomore. She's a sophomore. And board members, Dr. Nelson, this concludes tonight's board recognitions. We'll have a break, and students with the STAR exam will take your pictures outside. Thank you.
Miguel.
Margarito, you know him?
So what is it?
He's the youngest city councilman we've ever had, 19 years old. Nail it. He beats Carlos Zúñiga.
Thank you for being with us tonight.
Okay, it's too late because they already have a sanctuary game.
All right, come on back. Be happy to.
If not this year, we're gonna switch it this year for next year.
We'll call the meeting to order again. We want to recognize Mr. Garza did arrive much earlier, but for the record, he is here.
You're here.
Do we have public forum?
We don't have anything.
We don't have anyone. Board communications? We'll start with Mr. Garcia.
I do want to thank the science department. They put on a real nice science fair. Mr. Martinez and myself were actually there to help with awarding of all the awards, certificates, and I had a real good time. I want to congratulate our basketball team. With the boys, we're not sure everybody that's going to be in the playoff, but I think all three of them should make it or are very close to making it, right?
Yes, sir.
In the girls, I want to congratulate Cigarroa for winning the district, and they're actually playing, they're going to play the by-district game here in Laredo. I want to congratulate Nixon that made the playoffs, and Martin is playing a playoff game to see if they get that fourth and last spot. Soccer, the same thing. They're doing an outstanding job. And I just want to emphasize, and I want to thank, because this is Mr. Martinez's idea, this recognition of the veterans is very crucial to our community, and I'm glad he brought it up under his, as a president to honor veterans and to do what we're doing. It's a great idea, and I was telling Mr. Noyola, I get goosebumps every time that particular piece comes up, because you know what, it's just these people sacrifice a lot for our freedom. And I'm glad we're doing it. Thank you for bringing it up to us. I think it's a beautiful thing to do. And I want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's. Spend it with your loved ones. And if you don't have a loved one, spend it with a box of chocolate. Thanks.
Mr. Noyola.
I would like to thank all schools, administrators, for the nice recognition that this board got during the month of January. It's highly appreciated. Also, like Mr. Garcia said, I would like to wish our basketball teams a success in the playoffs. So far, we have 4 teams in the playoffs, and hopefully 2 more are in the running. Hopefully, we'll get all 6 like we got last year. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Martinez?
Thank you. Again, congratulations to the basketball teams, especially the Cigarroa girls that are super team. I went to see them a couple of times already, and they're doing a super job. Nixon is doing a super job too, Martin High, and the rest. So congratulations to the basketball teams, and congratulations to the science minds that we're growing in LISD. The kids are really into it. Sciences include also social sciences. And some of the kids have very good projects in politics and research on these areas. So congratulations to us that are building science procedures and science minds in our district. Thank you all for that.
Thank you. Mr. Garza?
Thank you. Once again, I'd like to congratulate all the athletic teams for moving forward. I had the great opportunity to go see a girls soccer team play in the middle of the cold weather at Memorial Field. And it was I was inspired because as cold as it was out there, they were still hustling and doing everything that they had to do, and they ended up winning 2-0. But more than that, I'm noticing a little trend that's going on at every level at LISD. We see good things happening now. We see more consistently that more and more things at every level, everything is improving. And I'd like to congratulate the board, all the administrators, the school principals, and everybody that's involved from finance to maintenance. Everybody's putting their hand into this, and I really appreciate that. I'd like to say thank you to everybody that honored us for Board Appreciation Month last month. I think that was a great gesture. Not needed, but great gesture, and appreciate everything that you all do. Also, I'd like to also echo what Mr. Martinez said about the sciences. You know, we're starting to see that a lot of these kids are getting more and more involved with extracurricular activities, and we're letting them shine. We're letting them let their self-expressions come through with all these projects that they have going on. So I encourage everybody to continue the good work, keep up the good work, and at the end of the day, everything pays off. Thanks.
Mr. Valdez? Yes, you're next.
First of all, I'd like to congratulate basketball teams. There was a time when we always said who they're going to lose to next, but not anymore. And I also want to congratulate our veterans. I went to high school with Walter, who was honored tonight. In the very near future, I hope that we can improve on our hiring policies. I think that veterans also want an opportunity to work, especially those that have been in combat. There's a veteran, and then there's a veteran. And we have war veterans that are applying, very, very qualified, and I hope that we come up with a point system as they do in other employment entities, and we give them a little bit of more preference. Also, certainly admirable are the students that, well, all the ones that we honored today. But I was very impressed with the ones that got perfect scores in math.
Hey, I'm glad somebody...
I could never add 2 and 2. It always came out to 3. But I was very impressed with that, and I hope that later on we'll have an item on the agenda where we'll be discussing that we open up more doors for them, because we have a lot of engineers and scientists coming up through the ranks.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I too want to congratulate all the students, the teachers, and the school principals on those students that had perfect scores, and also for those that had perfect attendance, because I'm just kind of glad and proud of the fact that we're starting to recognize the very, very, very top. For many of us, we may not have realized how many students we had until these recognitions are brought up. So hopefully the principals will be challenged to double those numbers at this testing period, so that next year we have twice as many students with perfect scores. So thank you all very much. Our next item?
Thank you, Dr. Moreno. That brings us to item number 1, approval and/or ratification of monthly disbursements.
Motion to approve.
Second. 1 and 2.
1 and 2, the minutes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Dr. Moreno, can we move up number 21?
We have a motion to move up number 21.
21?
Is there a second?
Yeah, number 21.
Do we have a second?
Madam Chairman, well, I'm sorry, you want a second?
Somebody
You
somebody wants to second that motion to move it up?
you
we
might,
have a
it's
motion
a
and a
closed
second.
session item, you might want to
Yeah, it's
move
a
up
closed
all of
session
the
item.
closed session items. If you want to move them up together, or not, but I mean, to go into
21?
executive session.
Can do all,
21?
Not number 21. Number 21 is bond counsel.
we can do all the closed
It is
session if you want.
closed session.
Closed session.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. I did.
Oh, I got it. Sorry about that.
Closed
Sorry about
session.
that.
Closed
Got to
session.
be somewhere else.
Yeah, it's up to you all, but I just mentioned that, just.
You want to move it up?
let's move them up and do so we can get them
the
out of the
closed
way, because they have another place.
Okay.
Have to travel out of town.
So that would be 21, and which others?
That's executive session.
21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26.
Move them all up.
Okay, we have a motion and a second that we move up items 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26. All
Second.
those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Time
We will
is?
now go
Let's
into
do it.
executive session. It is 6:20.
Let's get it on. See all those kids with those math backgrounds? You've been keeping them in a whole lot. Yeah.
Wait a minute. I haven't been in. I haven't got it.
It is now 7:09. We have concluded our executive session. No votes were taken, no action was taken.
That's right.
Do we have anything, number 21, Dr. Nelson?
Thank you, Dr. Moreno. Item number 21 is discussion and possible action to consult with legal counsel regarding issues in connection with Unlimited Tax School Building Bond Series 2005 and matters related thereto. Dr. Moreno, members of the board, I would respectfully recommend that we move forward with the Unlimited Tax School Building Bond Series 2005 as recommended by bond counsel and discussed in closed session.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Signify by saying aye. All those opposed? Motion passes.
There's no, may we proceed, Dr. Moreno?
Yes.
Thank you. Item number 22, there's no action necessary. Do we need to read it for the record? No. May we have permission to proceed?
Yes.
Item number 23 is discussion and possible action regarding the pending proposed termination of a teacher on term contract, including discussion with legal counsel regarding related legal issues and pending litigation, and no action necessary. That brings us to item number 24, if I may.
Yes.
Item number 24 is discussion and possible action to renew Administrator Chapter 21 one-year term contracts for the school year 2016-2017 as recommended by my office. Recommend approval.
So moved.
Approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor signify by
Aye.
saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Item number 25 is discussion and possible action to approve the renewal of Administrator Chapter 21 probationary contracts for a second year for the school year 2016-2017 as recommended by my office. Recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes.
Item number 26 is discussion and possible action to approve the recommendation to hire the following professional positions. For the position of Athletic Director, we'd like to recommend Ms. Sylvia Barrera for the position.
So move.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
For elementary assistant principal, we recommend the approval of Ms. Ana Laura Garza for the position.
So moved that we approve the recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And for the position of facilities supervisor, we'd like to recommend Mr. Jose Conde Jr. for the position.
I move we approve the recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
That brings us to agenda item number 3. May we proceed?
Motion to approve 3A through
5H.
3F.
The only thing, I need to make
Yes.
2 edits, Dr. Moreno, before the board takes action. I don't know if we want to do it after it's been moved. Okay.
No.
Real
We have a
quick.
motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
She's gonna make a correct.
We have a motion and a second.
Thank you.
Correction.
Item number 3E, as in Edna. The total amount should be $107,926. There's an additional $3,500 being added for Mr. Jose Pettis' discretionary account for Figueroa High School Special Ed, and an additional $1,500 being taken from Mr. Garza's discretionary account for Star T-shirts at J.C. Martin. So we recommend approval with that edit. And then on 3F, as in Fig, or Frank, very good. It says 2017. It should say 2016. We apologize for that. And other than that, we recommend approval as presented on 3A through 3F.
I move that we approve those,
Those motions with the corrections?
Thank you.
Yes.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Motion to approve 4A through 4H.
I'm sorry.
4.
What are we doing with 4E?
4E.
That's
You wanna go to 4O?
that's the 2014 RFQ.
You want to
Let's take the two RFQs out and vote on.
4O and then open it for
And
go
then
back
open
to,
it for
and
discussion.
forget the 4 what? E?
Yes.
That was E and
Which
G,
one are you asking for?
E and F.
Motion to accept A through O except for E and F.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
And so, Dr. Moreno, if I understand correctly, on 4E and F, because it was done in 2014,
No,
Okay, I'm
we
sorry.
already have, there's an RFQ out there that
Right.
was awarded once and twice. It could be awarded like a third time, but we have to say that it's a renewal or an extension. Most of the time, the district uses the words renewal. Here, none of that was said. It just makes it look like it's a new one, and yet it's not because it has the year 2014. So I think it's just some clarification on being accurate about what we're doing here.
document.
Yes.
would you like to address the board, Mr. Alcantar, the Director of Procurement, for the record?
As noted, the item was approved the first and the second time, and it is up for possible renewal in June. When we brought the renewals, part of the condition was that any time, the renewal's already been bought and is brought and is in place and is in effect till June. When we brought the renewal, part of the condition was that any time a job was awarded under the RFQ, that job had to be presented to the board for approval.
Okay, we'll bring this back in March.
Okay,
Thank you.
good. March.
Any other comments or questions from the board?
No.
If not, may we have
Is it going to
permission?
have any effect on our timeline?
No, we'll catch up. We'll catch up. I mean, they're going to, yes, we'll catch up. We'll catch up. Yes, E and F we'll bring back in March.
So we
Motion
have,
to approve the tax refunds, A5 through AH.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Motion to approve 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12.
Okay, so when do we know what projects we're talking about?
When do we know what?
First of all,
Okay, so on item number 6, we'd like to pull that item until we discuss the sports package under the regular agenda.
okay, so you're pulling out 6.
Yes, ma'am.
So we have 7, okay?
7 through 12.
I'll
Under
second that.
number 8, it's the early incentive program as recommended.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
For the record, that would be
Then a second.
$500 for each they'll have until April 1st. And it'll be $500 for each paraprofessional, $1,000 for each professional.
Okay, and on the scholastic year calendar,
We recommend option A as presented. Or
Okay,
option C,
is that
C as in
option
cat.
what?
C
Oh,
as in
Option
color.
C?
Yes.
Okay, just because we don't state it, so then what did
Well,
we
we said it
approve?
in Thursday, but you're right. It
But
needs to
it's gotta
say
be in the
option,
minutes here.
calendar C, you're right. And DEIC did vote for C.
Okay, so that takes care of those clarifications. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Brings us to the regular agenda. Dr. Moreno, you want the board members to read their items, or how would you like?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll take the first one. Discussion and action to approve the creation of a Health Insurance Board Committee and Facilities Naming Board Committee. And I make a motion for that.
I'll second that.
A question. We've always had a committee that included employees,
In the,
representatives.
in the health committee, the health committee is gonna consist of the presidents of the different,
Teacher organization.
teacher organizations and two parents,
Oh,
like we did
okay.
last time.
Okay.
So the two,
Okay.
yes.
Not
So
just two,
there
we're
are
just gonna head it
employees.
up.
Okay.
So we have a motion and a second already?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Discussion and action to call the naming of facilities pursuant to policy CW local. This is so that if anybody will be wanting to nominate certain committees, that they tell us what buildings or what facilities they want. So do we need to bring those now, or we bring them in the, for
What I'd
future?
like to recommend, if I may, is that according to our policy, the first thing to do in naming facilities is to identify the facilities.
Right.
And so we'd like to have until the next board meeting for any trustee that wants a facility to be named, submit those to our
Josie or to
office.
your
Yes.
office.
And then we will bring that slate for possible action with the board
So that'll be
in March.
for next
Question.
meeting.
Yes,
It doesn't have to be a slate. It can be just one building.
absolutely. I
Right.
apologize. Stand corrected.
We're just identifying the buildings.
Right, identify what, okay.
Right. Okay,
We
next.
do it anyway, don't we? We don't just name things. We say,
No, this is what we always do, absolutely.
Okay, so
Okay.
that takes care of that one. Item 15, Mr. Valdez.
okay, discussion and possible action to instruct the superintendent to prepare all plans.
You don't want to take action on, I'm sorry, Mr.
Didn't we, okay, we didn't take action on 14?
No,
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
thank you. Mr. Valdez?
Okay, let's go back. Did anybody make a motion for number 14? I make a motion for number 14.
second it.
and
I second
you
it.
seconded,
Yeah.
and we're fine.
But
So let's take the vote again. All
if-
those, amended.
if I may, Dr. Moreno, on 14, all we did was, hey, stick to the policy.
Right,
Okay.
but we just want to take action.
But we have to vote on
The
that.
action is to call for naming of facilities, so we are calling for the naming of facilities.
Right.
Okay.
At the next board meeting.
So that's the motion, and that's been
No,
seconded.
no, I understand, but that's what we do
All those
anyway.
in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Okay, 15, Mr. Valdez.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Discussion and possible action to instruct the superintendent to prepare all plans and specifications for the expansion of the LISD Sabas Perez Engineering Magnet School, including preparing preliminary plans for construction on LISD property or acquisition of property for the project, and to report to the board at the March 2016 regular board meeting on the status of the project. I think tonight, well, I don't want to go into a long-winded presentation, but tonight we saw that we have a lot of students that are excelling in mathematics and the sciences that are required for the study of engineering and scientific fields. And we need to expand the activities, and that includes also expanding the curriculum so that we can start at lower grades, introducing our students to in the field of engineering. It's as simple as that. And this is only a preparation of plans and preparing a presentation to the board.
So we're asking
Do you want to
that,
put in form of a motion, Mr. Valdez?
I make a motion that we approve item 15.
Second?
okay.
Discussion.
In discussion, okay, Mr.
Yeah,
Garcia?
you know what, just the timeline, because 4 days ago, in a conversation, we don't give orders to the superintendent, as stated, that we don't do that. And I think it's needed, but I think we need, it's not a priority right now. The magnet school, the engineering magnet school that we do have, right?
Yes.
It's doing a good job. 2 years ago, we were considering eliminating it because we had 8 students in that program. That program is starting to build up, but I don't think it's to the point that we need to start looking at a school. I think we need to have consistency in the classes before we can actually start looking at that, because it wouldn't be proper to spend whatever $12, $15 million on 25 kids or 30 kids. I think we need to start looking at the possibility of adding on to it, but I think they do already have facilities. This is in my district, it's my district and Perez's district, and I have not yet to this day heard a complaint that we don't have the facilities because we don't have the students yet. We're growing. I think the principal out there is doing an outstanding job there, but it's a challenge because of some kids from other schools don't want to drive out there. So the majority of the kids that are focusing in that program are from Figueroa. How many kids do we have from outside Figueroa? We have approximately, I think it's 75 each. From outside Figueroa, that are not from Nixon and Martin now? So that's a lot of growth from 2 years ago, and I think that because we gave him the mandate to, go out there and recruit, and he's done that, and it's growing. And I think in about 2 or 3 years, we'll be ready because we'll be consistent on these kids that are going up to get to that point. But I think it's about, I say 2 years away or 3 years away before we really get into the thing, okay, now we're being consistent, but the students are consistent. Now we need to look at that, expanding what we already have, because I think we have a good program there.
I also think we need to start bringing more attention to the program by having presentations done through our committees, our curriculum committee. What does their application look like? How many students were, what are they seeing? What's the data about the school? Do they lose students or do they pick up students as the, first and second year students, and just the kinds of information that'll help us in the decision-making process?
See.
Mr. Valdez, I'm sorry,
Okay.
that's Tuesday.
The Laredo Independent School District has an engineering school thanks to the dedication and the hard work that we have had from Mr. Perez, Mr. Alfredo Perez. But we need to expand that. You just said it a little while ago. We need to increase the advertising, the
Yes.
recruitment, and when do we start? If you look at this, what it says in here, prepare plans and specifications for the expansion. I didn't say expansion of a room. I'm saying expansion of the program, okay? Now, the investment that we make
The Nixon does.
is not going to be as great as the one that we make for other magnet schools. And yet, the potential for this field is greater than others, if you look closely. Now, when we expand this program, we need to add staff. We need to go into the lower grades, middle school perhaps. That decision will be made in the academic field. But we need to start showing or letting our students know what there is out there. We are not doing that right now. The same thing happens with the other magnet schools. Even though they have been, well, we say successful, but we have magnet schools where you have 2 and 3 students in a class. That's okay. We have them there, and that's fine. But here, we have a lot of potential. Now, what is the problem with preparing plans and specifications? I didn't say build them, okay? What's the plan? And what is the problem with, well, the next item where we allocate some money so that this thing is real? What is the problem?
Where's the money coming
Now, you're saying that it's not a priority. If it's not a priority now, when will it ever be?
Well, that's why we need to start bringing the data through the
Well,
curriculum committee.
that's what this is
Right,
all
I mean,
about.
nobody-
In other words, when the superintendent prepares plans and specifications, he may come and say exactly what Mr. Garcia has said, but we will have now a complete study of this, okay? And then we will know. But the way it is right now, we have one man over there. I think we need to expand that. And there are several fields in engineering. I have a granddaughter who's going to be an engineer. She's at Texas A&M. There are several fields, and we need to make sure that our students and our families know about those things. I don't want to go into a meeting I had the other day when somebody reminded me that there were lower classes in our schools. I already discussed that with Dr. Nelson.
Mr. Martinez, you had some comments?
Yes, ma'am. This is an area of academics. We need to emphasize, we need to do something about the math and science students that we're looking at here at the elementary level. We cannot wait. We need to get the school bigger and stronger, and the plans need to be made now. We cannot be waiting. We need to get the school going. We need to get the school to the grade that it is really creating interest in engineering for our kids. There's a lot of potential for engineering here in Laredo and all over the place. And we have some super universities, but we need to prepare our kids that need to want to go into engineering and architecture. So I think we need to start now. We cannot wait for this school to, not develop. So I'm agreeing with Mr.
Nobody's questioning the school's ability. It's that the number that you're asking for were presented to us 2 years ago. And it was, as a matter of fact, in front of this board. And again, it was a very interesting conversation where we almost made a decision to eliminate the program because there were no students. The recruiting happened that the kid that you have now is because of the efforts of the principal of the magnet. He took the bull by the horn, basically went out there and started bringing people into his program, making it known that, you know what, this program is a very good program. And I agree with you. We need to start looking at it and building it even more and more. I think they did a better job in registration. I think he went out to the actual recruiting. Remember we talked about it? He started going out with exactly what you're saying. He went to the elementary, started recruiting. He went to the middle schools and started recruiting and letting them out early. I think that's why he has the interest that's happened now. That was done by this board when the program was not failing because of him, but failing because he wasn't getting the support from the staff in advertising and going out and recruiting. And I think he's done, an outstanding job, and it's headed in the right direction. I say if you continue like this, you're right. We need to expand it because, as Mr. Martinez said, math and science are very crucial. And if we're looking at just the possibilities of what we can do when it gets to a certain point, I'm 100% for it. But I don't want it to sound like, no, we're against it, because we've been for it from the very beginning. We didn't close it. We said, what do you need to succeed? He told us, and we gave it to him, and I think that's why we have the classes that we have. What's the graduating classes here? It's a small one.
It's 25.
8, yeah. 5 or 6. Why? Because the 75 that he's saying are the kids that are freshmen now and the sophomore, those are your bulk, because he did that work. 2 years ago, that's what we had. We had 5 kids graduating from a magnet school. And next year, he's going to have a bigger graduating class, and the following year, he's going to even have a bigger graduation class because the kids are coming out here. The head of the counselors and vocational did an outstanding job in, okay, let's bring more kids, and they keep on doing that. And if we can keep on doing that and have a consistency of 25 to 30 a year, now we're talking about, hey, let's increase another vice principal, because I know he's doing it all, plus he has to do a work at the high school, which I don't think he should, because he should monitor, he should spend all his time in the magnet school by itself, and that's something we need to look at too. But I agree with you.
That's what I'm proposing.
Well, and it goes like this, because it should.
The next one is the one.
Really, what we should be doing is I think, I'm in agreement with what everybody's saying right now. This program I've been pushing for.
I think it's the March deadline that feels kind of close. You can't.
Well, I mean, but the whole idea is because it makes it seem like this. It sort of makes it seem like build it and they will come.
That's right.
Yeah, and unfortunately we're not in any position to build and they will come.
They should come.
Well, what I am saying though, is that given the numbers that we're talking about, to bring it before this board meeting right now, I think it sort of undercuts the priorities to bring it over to committees first introduce it, and then we can take put it under a magnifying glass and figure out a 4 or 5 year, 10-year plan. And then we can figure out how this building is going to go into effect and at what time. But, I mean, like I said, it's not one of these things that I'm uncomfortable with it because we're putting the carriage before the horse. And we're not, I don't know if to say yes right now or to say no because I don't have enough information in front of me to say yes or no.
Well, I'd like for us to start seeing some presentations through the curriculum committee, Dr. Nelson.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Martinez.
This is not an indication of
Just like Mr. Garza said, building and they will come. Build it and they will come. Now, the kids are out there, and we don't have the facilities for them to practice engineering at this stage. They will go and practice, unprepared. We need to have facility for those students that are interested in engineering now. Okay, we cannot wait 5 years. If we have the facility, and if it's a first-rate facility, then the kids will come in and they will learn. Let's not just hope for them to come in, or we don't have enough right now. We have enough out there, but we are not doing something to attract them with a good facility. That's what we need. We need to have a school of engineering that will be attracting to the kids and to the parents, and the kids can come in and learn, and they will prepare themselves. But we need the facility first for them to see what kind of environment there is for them to go into that magnet school.
Can we push then, if we're going to be thinking like that, let's that's what I'm saying. All this discussion has to be put at committee, and then we can figure out, if we're bursting at the seams.
We need to form the committee, that's what Mr. Valdez is saying.
No, this goes under operations, and it goes under curriculum, and everybody goes down the line, because if we're bursting at the seams.
And it goes under student services.
Student services, so we need everybody's input on this. That's what I'm telling you, I'm uncomfortable with this right now.
If I may, it took about 100 years for somebody in this school district to start moving up and building schools and everything on a fast track, okay? And we did it. Nobody wanted to do those things when I came in. You've been working here a long time, you know that. But coming back to this, when do we start? If we're going to judge our operations by the number of students that we have at one given time, we have to start somewhere. We're going to close some schools. My God, how can we justify having schools where we don't have, or very few students, and saying, we can't do that anymore. You can't do that. Now, coming back to this, how can you say it's a good idea to prepare this, prepare that? How do we do it? I'm proposing a way. I'm proposing that information come in, be put together, and be brought back to us. This whole thing can die right then and there if it doesn't have any
I think we're
substance.
talking construction here, and we're talking program before construction.
Program development.
Yeah,
We need
it's a
to,
difference
I
between
agree that the program needs development.
Or bring a recommendation on the program. The way it's worded, it's like you always say, the wording to it is bring plans for expansion. It's not a...
Dr. Nelson, can you tell us where we can go from this?
Absolutely. I think I had a chance to visit with Mr. Valdez this morning and got a very good understanding of his vision to expand our engineering program and really give it the support that the leadership of that program deserves, including, as you said so well, program development, which I believe in reaching out into our middle schools and identifying our top math and science kids. And really this initiative, this agenda item that's being brought by Mr. Valdez is a national issue. And so we want to really commit, very respectfully, Mr. Valdez, we want to have the same conversation about expanding our health science program as well. And school choice is something that I'm proud to say that this board has already allowed the students of our district to begin to consider. So coming out of 5th grade, you can start thinking about early college, VMT, health science, engineering magnet, and we want to expand all of those programs. So we can certainly begin with engineering out of respect for Mr. Valdez's, and I believe we can start in the committees in March and have an update at the business support as well.
Mr. Martinez?
Yes, we're losing a lot of students to other schools that are private. Now, which students are we losing? We're losing the best students. We're losing the ones that want to go into science and technology and engineering. we need to get those students back for a complete education with good teachers and a good program. We cannot afford to lose them, and we're losing them right now by the bundles. Okay, so this, as much as we can do right now, as much as we can get something going, we will stop losing these kids.
And so we have to, in that case, and then we have to look at the possibility of, are we losing them because of logistics? Are we losing them because of curriculum? Are we losing them because we just don't have the program involvement that we need? And those are the questions that, like I said, I hear you 100%. I want, that any type of STEM program that can take off and we can lead in this category, in this city and in the state, I'm all for it. I'm just thinking that the processes that we're doing, we're not getting it so we can have a full discussion at committee level and get everybody involved and input, and then we can move forward.
Okay,
But
point of information.
I'm with you.
Mr. Valdez?
Point of information, Dr. Moreno. The committee system that's in place right now is an administrative committee. The word is present. Okay, in other words, administration makes presentations.
On the things we ask?
In other words.
You better believe it.
No.
The committee doesn't just bring you whatever they want.
No, they are the ones that
Especially when
decide what is
No,
going to be
they
presented.
Amen to that.
May I finish my point, okay? But that's exactly what I'm saying here. In other words, we're saying, hey, Dr. Nelson, prepare these things for a committee report or for whatever report. That's exactly what I'm saying.
Then we're all on the same page.
We're all
All on the same page.
So we
You know,
agree to the
And
motion.
that's what
I
I'm
can't
saying.
agree to
But see,
say-
here, let me tell you the difference.
Not in writing.
Okay, well, let me tell you the difference.
Not in
Here,
written.
the board is taking the leadership role. The board is telling the superintendent, we want this done, okay? We want the information to come in. We don't want this to be put in a crib and rocked to sleep.
I think the difference that we're talking about is that the agenda talks about construction, property acquisition, and we're talking about program development. That is the difference right here.
It says
Right, but
expand.
the program development is not anywhere in
Yeah,
here.
where
It's
is
not
the
under
language?
15 or 16.
For us, we would start with program
Inquiry for
development.
property and all that.
Exactly. So let us start with the program development.
All right.
Program development.
Let's reward it.
Let me withdraw the two items
Thank you.
for the time being.
Number
right.
17, Dr. Nelson.
All right, item number 17 is sponsored by Trustee Martinez. And it
They'll come back
reads-
again.
Yes. Mr.
Yeah,
Martinez,
just reword it
17.
because if you would, real quick, can I say, in number 50, Mr. Valdez, so we can get that is just say, you know what, reword it, or just say discussion.
I mean, we
to
He
can't
said he was
pass
gonna pull
14,
it.
we're not going to pass
He said he was
16.
gonna
We
pull
had
it.
a motion on the floor.
I got it.
And
We'll
we're going
follow.
to work with it. I'm going to
Next.
start with the committee.
Item number 17 is sponsored by
Wait,
Trustee.
We had a
Martinez.
motion on the floor. You want to kill the
Motion.
motion?
He
Let's go
withdrew
through the
both
proper
items.
procedures here.
Motion to
Apologize.
table
He
15 and 16.
All right. He's correct.
Attention, council.
Motion to table
Yeah.
15 and 16. A second?
As requested by Mr. Valdez.
Second for the motion. Second, I'll second that motion. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed?
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion it didn't pass. Oh, it did pass. The table. We'll bring it back later.
We'll bring it back.
17, Mr. Martinez.
Okay. I'd like to have a discussion and possible action to instruct our superintendent to prepare facility needs study to include library extensions, additional classrooms, vocational building trades, magnet program, parking areas as needed for different schools, and athletic arena for training of basketball and volleyball tournaments. Okay, this is what I mean. I go around to visit some of my schools and some other schools. The principal tells me, we're having kindergarten classes in the teacher's lounge or the teacher's workrooms. I go to another school and the library is almost the size of a classroom. This or academic needs for the elementary schools that are needed all over. These are just some of the ones that I've seen in about 3 or 4 of them. So there might be a lot more, and we need to do this from all, visit our campuses, check, see what they're doing. Maybe even rooms for music and art. That's extremely important. We might not have facilities to teach that and we need to start teaching art and music at the elementary school levels in a more constructive way. I think a program of magnet school in the vocational building trades is important. We do not have enough training for our kids to prepare, and we have a lot of work in the area of building trades. We have a lot of homes being built. My son is building 14 apartments right now, and they're all over the place. There's work there, and there's methods of developing and becoming not only carpenters, but also electricians, plumbers, air condition repair, and air condition planning. All these things are needed, and we need to do something about it. That we also need a sports arena for basketball tournaments that I think would be super. 4 courts, maybe a track around it on the second level. This, I think, would be a super program now that we have some money in from the bond election. And so this is, I think, something that would be very, very beneficial for the kids in the district. And I'd like to propose that we start looking into it and then bring some feedback for the next meeting.
I want to add something that as we look at this, and I don't know that it can happen for the next meeting, but it's your agenda, but as we look at it, we do have to also consider boundaries. We have some schools that have extra classrooms, and possibly what that means is that some of those boundaries need to be different instead of adding classrooms to the small schools and letting the others go empty. It could be that we need to look at boundaries there. It could be that certain grades could also be moved, like pre-Ks could also be at a school that has room for them, so that we don't have to build, but we do provide. And that's an opportunity.
We need to provide pre-K 3, pre-K 4 at all the schools.
And
if we're gonna go into this realm of work, again, there's a lot of good things in there. My thing is that brings something else up to this issue, that a lot of these things should have been in our capital improvement projects 5 years ago, 3 years ago.
Yes.
And I don't know if some of them are already mentioned in there.
Part of it is that
Like the additional classrooms, I know is mentioned. I know the library extensions. Now we have to take a full audit of what we discussed 3 years ago and go back to see if there was any growth in those schools and figure out why these libraries are getting smaller, and why we didn't bring up these expansion processes back 3 years ago when we built our capital improvement projects. I mean, so now we need to decipher and pick out everything that we have going on there.
And as we do that, I want to include that I'd like for us to look at the usability of our tennis courts. I have yet to see the Nixon courts used.
They're used today. I have.
What?
I just haven't.
Which one?
I need to know what time to drive by there because I haven't
The tennis
yet to
courts?
see them being used.
The tennis court?
Can I,
They're opening from, they practice from
talk
3
about
to
it,
6.
ask Mr.
3 to
Valdez.
6?
Yeah.
Okay. That's the only time. They should be used all day.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Valdez.
We're doing exactly that. In other words, a recommendation is coming up
Right.
that is going to include projects, and I think they're good,
Some of them are.
that were not in the capital improvement program 3 years ago.
It was leftover
And,
money.
what Mr. Martinez is bringing up is the same thing.
Right.
We continue looking at what we have out there, Santa Maria, and where I'm residing, doesn't have a playground. It's got a little thing there where the kids jump up and down.
Right, a
But,
playground, but yes.
you know, very
It's
small.
not big,
Can't run.
right.
And then it's also dangerous.
So we have a
But
motion.
coming back to this, I'm
This
saying
one-
this in reference to the statement that was made that 3 years ago we should have seen it. Sometimes you can't. You
Yeah, that's why you do an
can't see
audit
this.
every year.
Dr. Nelson, you had some comments?
I just want to say
something real quick?
I'm sorry, I'll defer to Trustee Garcia.
Just real quick on the whole thing, and I understand, and I'm reading the whole thing, and I'll go one by one. Library expansion, we just gotta see, because technology nowadays, libraries are shrinking because of iPads and everything is now going through reading on your iPad. And if you actually look at I was reading some articles all over the state. You know what? Libraries are not expanding anymore because they're getting more modern. That instead of being books on the shelves, you pick up the book within a pad. But there are some areas that we need to look at that need expansion, rightfully so. We've talked about classroom, vocation building. We brought a plan to expand one vocational school and look at the other two vocational schools, but at the time
Was stable.
we didn't want to follow that. And then an arena is something that is not important, I don't think, to the district. We have a lot of gyms, and the gyms do tournaments. You never at the tournament, and we put on tournaments. You never put on a tournament where you're having two games at one time in the same facility. We've been running tournaments for a long time. And money that's from the bond money's already been allocated. Money's already been told, we discussed earlier, to certain projects. We can't just say, you know what, no, I'm going to build this. That wasn't what the bonds are about. Now, if there's extra money left over after we did what we said we were going to do, then you can allocate that to that. But until then, you can't do that. But there's other money that we can say, you know what, where can we find money to do these plans? I have no problem with any of them, except I don't think an arena would be appropriate for a school. They're struggling with the arena that the city built right now. So our facilities that we play basketball everywhere are real nice. Volleyball too. I don't think
They're called gyms.
Yeah, it's called for that. We have one we can do for the city.
Look, not too long ago, we just approved $500,000 of what was it for turf.
Yeah.
That was not in the capital improvement program, but it was needed.
But it was part of that.
In other words,
money, yeah.
what I'm saying is we
No,
go back
we
to
can look
that,
at it.
okay? How come we didn't do a long study for all of that, you know? No. Because
I'll tell you
there
why.
are things we know that are needed right now, and we have the money, and we do it. As far as the money is concerned, I don't want to go too deep into that, but even tonight, we had discussions that we better start spending what we've got.
Right.
And, you know,
what we said
constructively, and
we
everything
spend
that is proposed here, if you look closely, what Mr. Martinez is saying is to instruct him to do a deeper study, really, of what we have out there right now. In other words,
it's a good-
let's not rely on that capital improvement plan 3 years ago. We need to do that. I'm sorry that I interrupted Mr. Loyola.
But there shouldn't be something coming only from the campuses. The last one only came from the campuses. The central office themselves didn't really impact, didn't say these things we know are missing.
Correct.
Mr. Loyola.
I just would like to say that we have beautiful schools, beautiful libraries, computer rooms, gymnasiums, playgrounds. We should look into making these facilities accessible to our students after school. A lot of students just go home and they have nothing to do, and let's put these beautiful facilities to use. Find a way for these students to use them more.
I agree.
We need the libraries with books. We're not going to eliminate them now. The libraries are needed for teaching also. Classes are brought in for research by the librarians. We cannot shrink the libraries. That's a very stupid idea. We can't do that. The libraries need to be like they've always been, if not bigger. A teaching area by the librarians and by the English teachers and by the science teachers to do research. And it's not only computers. Okay, there's a lot of areas and research that we need to do there. The same thing with, there's tournaments at all levels where they're carried on in a weekend. There's need for tournament areas to carry on a tournament of, let's say, third graders, and they come in, 12, 16 teams, they come in, they play all weekend, and then they have, the winners. These are extremely interesting and needed facilities that are beneficial to the kids. The vocational building trades is needed. We don't have enough building trade facilities training in our district. That is very much needed also. Now, we've tabled the motion at the time. There was not enough interest, but there should be interest in it. And I'm proposing that we study it, we look into it, and we can come up with some ideas as to what we need to do. Better vocational school, and this is going on around the country also. The needs for this kind of schools are needed. And again, we're losing students to other programs because we're falling behind.
So do we
don't
have a
enough.
motion for number 17?
Yes, I move that we instruct our superintendent.
I second your motion.
And we have a
It's a study.
second.
Seconded? Yeah.
The study.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Okay, thank you.
Number 18, Mr. Martinez.
It's a good study.
Yes, ma'am. We put this behind,
That was like,
I'd like to move that we authorize superintendent to negotiate the purchase of additional property for playground at Bruni Elementary School. We've been doing this, but it's stalled, and we haven't been doing anything in the last few months. So this is, I think, very important. Bruni doesn't have anything. As far as the playground, we need to do something about it.
motion?
Yes, sir.
We have a motion and a second?
Didn't this already come up?
Several
What have we
times.
done?
Stable.
Was it?
well, no, we spoke to, the properties that we're looking at are south of the building. There's
Southeast.
there's a vacant lot and there's a commercial
empty building.
facility. And we've pursued both of them. We've also talked to a house that has a price being unreasonable. So we have not stalled. That is inaccurate. And, we can go talk to,
What about condemning?
what's his name?
Mr. Martinez.
Yes.
Louis Lavard.
LeBeau. We can go talk to the gentleman again. And Mr. Velasquez, Mr. Angel Velasquez, the Executive Director of Plant Facilities and Support Services, for the record, has coordinated the review of potential properties. Would you like to give a brief update?
Turn the mic on, please.
What about
Microphone.
eminent domain?
We
got
What about
cost
eminent
estimates, through the Webb County Appraisal District. We talked to some of the owners, and at some point in time, we provided presentations for that. We can bring it back if that's the wish of the board.
We can eminent domain, if that's
Right,
the will of this board.
that's what we need to do,
It's
sir.
just aggressive, and it requires legal consultation, and...
That's the purpose of this motion.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we
To
have
do
a
what?
Eminent
Eminent
domain.
But that's not on the motion, but
We'll just explore. No, we'd have to come back to that. one.
you have to come back to that.
Purchase.
And there is money in the bond that was
One of the
for
things we said.
purchase of property that we
I
can
know,
do.
I know.
It's
yeah.
purchased through eminent domain, if necessary. Acquire it.
Property acquisition, we got it. We'll,
You've done
if
it.
So
if
we
the
have
board-
a motion for the item
moved.
18,
Second?
and we have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. 19.
Item
Dr.
number
Nelson.
19 is discussion and possible action to approve the recommended amendments to the 2015-2016 capital improvement plan, including potential repurposing of funding as submitted. Dr. Moreno, members of the board, I've seen it misplaced. We submit, in our business support meeting, we went over our capital improvement plan. We went over the $139,000 worth of amendments. It's actually $114,000 because the monies for the vehicles have already been allocated in the appropriate fund.
Correct.
And so we would like to recommend approval of the 139. We provided a list of the schools and the description of the activities.
Second.
And these will appear as a reduction to the appropriation and an increase to the other appropriations?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So we have a motion and a second?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
Oh, no.
It brings us to item number 20, which is discussion and possible action to approve potential upgrades to the Veterans Baseball Field and Moreno Aquatic Center. We also asked to wait on an agenda item for the record. Item number 6, which is discussion and possible action on the current year estimated excess revenues over projected expenditures. We can do item number 20 first, but here's why we wanted to do these together. Item number 20, we've had a presentation. The board has seen it. It is approximately 2.4 million for the Veterans Field upgrade. We went over that in detail, and it's approximately 275,000 for the pool shade structure. The agenda item regarding the excess revenues has approximately $2.6 million in our mid-year review. The mid-year review excess revenues, we really have three options. One option is to wait and look at this some more. Option number two is to allocate that 2.6 million to our central office account that we're building. And then we wanted to propose, we already did at the business support, and just as an idea, we don't have to do it tonight, but we could take the 2.6 in the mid-year review and allocate it to the sports package. And that would continue the momentum we have going. This board has already approved the tennis courts. That project's already going. If you wanted to approve veterans, if you've been by veterans lately, we've already done some upgrades. And so to finish the project, if that's the will of this board, we can use this. If you want to do the sports package, the Veterans Field and the pool, we have not identified a funding source yet. So we'll need to do that.
Can we?
Mr. Garza?
Go ahead. Jerry.
Well, I was going to say that we can do a combination also of both, put some away and do that, because we had a small rendition of what the pool was going to look like, which is just the shading, which I have no problem with that. But we just had an idea what we were going to do with the baseball field. We really didn't have details as to where the $2 million was going to come from. I'm all for making it. I don't know what kind of upgrades we were going to put for $2.2 million in there. So if we can do something similar with, 1.2 million and use the other amount to put away for the admin building, we can also go that route, can't we?
I imagine that's the will of the board.
The presentation of the field, because they did the whole thing, it was an upgrade. It was upgrade to the concession stand, it was an upgrade to the
bathrooms,
press box,
concession stand there. It was an upgrade to the dressing room. It was a new press box with the suites and all that, because it was the visiting, because it's horrible. And this is Martin High School is the diamond of our school district.
Right.
And that whole area, the Bay Block, it's something that you got to go to and you got to see it and you got to appreciate it. But it was not only the presentation of the baseball field, but it was also the practice field where Martin High School practices their band, their football players, to build the softball field there and the running lanes for the triple jump, long jump, and all that to accommodate the track, and also to work on the field of Christian Middle, which is just a fence and it's nothing. So it's not just the baseball field, but that whole complex that brings beauty to what we already have there. I think it's something that it's not my district, but something that is needed for Martin High School. Just to keep that momentum and keep upgrading the beauty of what our first school in our district is.
So do we have a motion to?
I make a motion that we accept it as it is and bring.
Well, it doesn't say that we keep the number 6. Do we? It doesn't say. I'm all for it, but I'm not. It doesn't say we're to bring the excess monies into.
Well, no, this says to approve the upgrades, and then
yes,
we're going to go back to number 6.
The upgrade is not on detail. How much money? What are we approving?
You can state in the motion, you can state the dollar amounts in the motion. I'd recommend.
Can we see an itemized list of the improvements?
Yeah.
We already provided that to the board, but we can re-provide
No,
it.
but it's not provided in the motion.
Excuse me?
You provided that particular.
It is not provided in the motion.
It has to be provided.
Okay, so if you'd like for us to not take action because we don't have the presentation that you received earlier this month, we can wait. That's fine.
Or maybe give
in
us
the backup.
options.
not in the backup.
No. Let's not take action because it's not in this motion right here that's presented to us right now, okay? Not because of what happened last month.
But it's not in the backup.
No, it's not here. No, the motion it has to be in the motion.
That's a technicality.
Agenda item, it doesn't need to be in the agenda item.
Okay,
but it doesn't, that's.
Well, and for the record, may I respond? And I totally am prepared to coordinate whatever the board directs us to do. but we've tabled two items that could possibly delay construction at several projects. I recognize that, for the record. Now we're delaying this. And so.
No, the delay is because,
I made
the
a motion.
delay is because it was not presented to us properly.
That's not
So-
correct. That's not true.
Well, it doesn't say here.
Right,
Where's the
what
money?
you want is for us to say for 2.2 million and for 275,000 for the pool, which I believe all the board members are fully aware of the figures. Now, if we need to go back and rewrite it, I respect that. But it's not,
I remember.
it's a technicality, and we're not trying to do anything that is misleading to the
No,
public.
we know that.
Okay.
No, I remember. It was my mistake.
but it's
you
not
know,
there.
where no, but we went through this. The architect went in detail with it. I understand that now. But the only thing that, and it doesn't say it, but we've never had anything said whether we're going to do it or not, where the funding source is, and I don't think we need to have it in this motion. So
I mean, we
I
could.
think it says it stands on its own,
But
and it's okay.
if you approve this, and you go back to 6 to approve the funding source.
Or not approve it. If you approve this without approving 6 to go to it, then we've got to go find 2
You
point.
gotta go find the money.
But we've
Fine.
already,
No, but we
we got
don't
the
have
wheels
any-
moving, right?
Again, I make a motion to approve 20.
Okay, and the item of discussion,
So we have a motion, we have a second.
I'll second that.
We have
I'll
a
second that. I like the way it's
for
worded.
discussion.
Approve what?
Okay,
Number 20
discussion.
is written.
Okay, how much are you approving?
2.6.
No, it doesn't say
no, it
here.
doesn't say
We're not
anything.
approving, we're just approving how it reads, the possibility of approving a potential
Table
upgrade. And then, there's not a price to it, that comes in 6,
No, it doesn't come anything.
right?
It's not the motion. And we don't have the specifics. We might not want to approve all the specifics that are being brought in. To spend $2.5 million in improving a baseball field where we can build another baseball field with this amount. You know, I think it's very irrational to
$2.5 million, sí.
go blindly and say, here, architect, here's $2.5 million or so for you to better this baseball field. That's a lot of money. I don't think
So we can bring
go.
these 2 items at the next meeting.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But there's
Details.
already a motion and a second on it.
Okay, we can vote it
And
down.
bring it with a price on it and
but
They did this presentation, you said the same thing at the presentation, they gave you numbers, you said the same thing on that. I'm not criticizing you, but you already saw the numbers, you already saw this whole presentation.
did
You were
not.
present at
They
that
were
meeting.
talking about $5 million in the presentation.
No, they weren't.
Yes, they were.
I was at the same meeting.
Yeah, so was I.
Listen to what the motion says. You're going to be approving potential,
Right.
not
Not actual.
And bring
In other
the,
words, you're not approving anything.
Correct. But we get the ball rolling.
yes.
Rolling for what?
We can bring it back. No problem.
Either
back.
way-
That's what
either
we
way,
said
we're
in the
gonna have to do
beginning.
something with those fields.
So-
Either way, we're gonna.
Who had the second? You had the second, Mr. Garza?
Bring us the information back.
I would,
Mr. Garza.
I would recommend,
You withdraw your second so that we table this and let Dr. Nelson bring us more details.
Absolutely.
Withdraw?
We're withdrawing? Yes, we
Yeah,
can withdraw.
The same way for the other one, just pass it so you can bring us the information.
Okay,
Dr. Moreno?
all right,
So
next
is there a
item.
motion to
Dr.
table?
Moreno?
A motion and a second to table?
If I have a
Yes.
withdrawal, did I have
But
you?
I recommend that we start looking a little bit closer at the wording, okay?
And looking at the
Because
details
it's
of
holding
this,
us back.
of
We'll
this
do that.
item.
Okay, so we have
Take
do we have a motion to table?
Yes, I'm all there with table.
We have a second to table?
Yeah.
We have a second to table. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes.
No,
No.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
motion to
it's
table.
tabled, that's it.
Item number 6, Dr. Moreno. We've already read it for the public, and would you like to table that as well? or-
Yes.
Okay.
Do we have a motion to table item 6?
I don't
Yes,
even know
might
what
as
it
well.
is.
Who's making the
We're
motion?
gonna have a restaurant
Okay.
without this table.
Are you making the, are you making the motion, Mr. Martinez?
Yes, ma'am. I'll make a
Second.
motion to
Vote
table.
for
Andres?
tabling number
Second.
Number 6, which
Wait,
is the
wait.
funds for it.
Wait.
We'll just approve them all together next
Alright.
time.
Got it.
Somebody brought it up, but
All those in favor of the motion to table item 6?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Item 6 is tabled.
That brings us to communications, item number 27. May I allow,
Well, I
I
mean,
want to remind the
no es la culpa de nosotros que no
the
lo
people
escribimos.
that are voting in District
We
7,
approved it.
that area, that they don't
I
want
think,
mine.
we approved
That-
item
they're the only
19,
ones that
right?
want to eliminate the library.
Dr. Moreno, may I allow our Executive Director of Communications to present? Ms. Castillo?
Yes, sir. Board members, Dr. Nelson, the LISD Track Invitational is this Saturday for high school track teams at Shirley Field, beginning at 8:30 a.m. Also, this Saturday is an educational fiesta sponsored by parental involvement at Cigarroa High School, beginning at 8 a.m. LISD students will be participating in the IBC Youth Parade next Thursday night. We have special parking passes for our board members, and of course, seating in our grandstands. LISD teachers will have a staff development on Friday, February 19th, and we will have a district holiday on Monday, February 22nd. The weekend of February 22nd is Read Across America Week, with a proclamation ceremony on Tuesday, February 23rd, at the Trevino Magnet Schools Auditorium. A budget workshop is planned for Tuesday, February 23rd at 5:30 p.m., and all LISD elementary schools will have family reading night on Wednesday, February 24th, beginning at 5 p.m. And that is all I have for tonight. Thank you, board members. Dr. Nelson.
I wanted to wish Mr. Oscar Pettis a very happy birthday from this last Sunday.
Dr. Moreno, I'd just like to encourage the board members to attend the meeting so they don't have so many questions here, so they can see the documentation that's sent to us and presentation that's sent to us, because it's a waste of time. I know other people have different things to do on their time, but everybody was voted in for a reason. And the reason is to have that information and make an educated vote, and not come up here that we have to delay. We keep delaying, then we went a whole year delaying stuff, and we need to be forward. We need to be progressive and not backward. That's just for everybody, because I know that with Martinez, you're always at the meetings but sometimes we don't have everybody there, and we have other stuff going on. But I would encourage everybody to be at the meeting, so we don't have to go through the same language over and over and over.
So do we have a
it's
motion
frustrating.
to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
It's 8 o'clock. We used to meet till 12 o'clock when I got here. I mean, this is a very
That
short
didn't
meeting.
mean and we're done.
Beautiful.
Second.
Yeah, because we didn't approve
We have a
anything.
motion and a second. All those
love
in
it.
favor of adjournment?
Aye. Turn
Opposed?
the mic off.
Motion passes.
I feel sorry for the kids at Martin High School.